It might be hard to imagine today, but for nearly 100 years, from 1896 to 1990, the men of the U.S. Lifesaving Service, and later the U.S. Coast Guard, occupied this station to save mariners and marine traffic from peril. While you may know that the nearby Death Store Passage and surrounding shoals pose considerable risks to boats large and small, most visitors are surprised to learn that at least 213 shipwrecks have been identified and cataloged in these waters, which, according to some historians, is the most in any body of fresh water in the world. So it's not surprising that in April 1896, the Plum Island Lifesaving Station began operation, fulfilling Congress's direction to the U.S. Lifesaving Service to establish the station the year before. The station building you see in front of you housed the lifesaving crew, who were called surfmen. It was their job to rescue crews in distress by setting out in specially designed open boats, which were generally only about 25 feet long. The surfmen were lifesavers, not lighthouse men. Although they cooperated extensively with their lighthouse-keeping colleagues across the island, they did not operate or maintain any lights. A significant aspect of the Plum Island Station is the architecture of this main building, also known as the Crew Quarters Building. It's known as a Duluth-type life-saving station. The type was designed by architect George Tolman, and the first example was built on Lake Superior at the Duluth, Minnesota station. The Crew's Quarters building features a 4-story lookout tower and originally included an attached 2-bay boathouse. The building was remodeled to its current configuration in 1929 when the boat bays were enclosed to provide more room for the crews. 24 Duluth-type life-saving stations were built in the United States on coastal shores and the Great Lakes. This is the only one remaining on the Great Lakes, and by the late 1960s, this was the last permanently occupied one anywhere. Besides the crew's quarters, the station complex today includes the boathouse over the water and the paint house, a small wood frame building located behind the crew's quarters. The paint house served as an additional storage building for paint and other hazardous materials. The hiking path along the water around the island follows the patrol path that crews had to walk daily around the island to watch for endangered ships. With the unofficial motto, "You have to go out, but you don't have to come back," the crews of the U.S. Lifesaving Service and the U.S. Coast Guard put their lives in danger for modest pay and few benefits to rescue those needing assistance. While the number of vessels and lives saved by the actions of those at the Plum Island Lifesaving Station are immeasurable, the station itself serves as a proud reminder of this tradition. After you've had a chance to take a look at the Crew's Quarters building, you'll have a choice to make before proceeding on your hike. Behind the building, you'll see some directional signs for hiking paths. If you want to proceed directly to the rear range lighthouse, follow the Fern View or Eagle View path. Either one will take you directly across the island to the lighthouse complex. If you'd like to make more of a loop, proceed to the left, following the Island View South Loop path, which will reach the lighthouse complex via a longer trail following the southern edge of the island. If you'd like to learn even more about the history of this station, follow the path to the right, the Island View North Loop path, to the Grape Shot informational marker. If you do follow the North Loop path, you'll have to retrace your steps before proceeding to the lighthouse because the path ends at the wetland and no longer makes a complete loop. Whichever path you choose will have more information for you along the way. The audio narration will start automatically, triggered by the GPS feature of your smartphone. Please stay on marked trails. Carry out any trash. Do not remove any natural items or artifacts from the refuge. The only restrooms on the island are the porta-potties next to the boathouse. Also, do not enter any buildings unless they have been opened by a refuge staff member or authorized FOPI volunteer. And please follow precautions for deer ticks. Lyme disease has been confirmed on Plum Island. Further information can be found on the panels of the information kiosk next to the Crew's Quarters buildings. The kiosk also has more information about Plum Island and the Green Bay National Wildlife Refuge. Be sure to check it out. We'll see you at the next point of interest.